Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Northern Kentucky Spotlight podcast powered by C Crew. I'm your host, Sarah Brookbank, and I am so glad to be back hosting the podcast. Today, we are joined by Richard Brown, CEO of Emerge. He talks about trends in the IT field and what future trends they're keeping their eyes on. We are also joined by Tammy Wilson, our VP of Government Relations and Business Advocacy. She highlights NKY United happening on June 17th and 18th. There are a number of things happening for NKY United, starting on Tuesday, June 17th, with a welcome reception. Then on Wednesday, June 18th, interim joint committee meetings begin at 9 a.m. And there are two other networking opportunities, the pregame happy hour happening at 4:30 and the Reds versus Twins happening at 7:10. You can learn more about the schedule of events and how to register for those networking opportunities at nkychamber.com/events. And of course, stay tuned because Tammy will get down to the nitty-gritty. Thank you so much to our podcast sponsors, C Crew, Google and Amazon advertising experts, and Schneller Knockelman. Now let's go meet our members of the week, hear from our sponsors, and I'll be back with this week's guests.
Ranking on Google Search and Maps is easy to understand, but hard to do. It requires constant effort and attention, uploading new photos, responding to Google reviews, writing weekly posts, and checking suggested updates. Google listing optimization takes experience and time, and there are no shortcuts. C Crew gives your Google My Business account the steady, consistent attention it needs to be effective, optimizing, updating, and expanding critical content every single week. From local retail stores to large regional networks, C Crew generates content, establishes benchmarks, and creates dramatic, measurable increases in engagement. So what can C Crew do for your business? More calls, more clicks, more clients.
Congratulations to our members of the week. You can learn more about these businesses by following the Northern Kentucky Chamber on social media, where we will highlight one of these businesses each day. Now, let's meet our members of the week. Per Scholas, Greater Cincinnati offers both entry and mid-level courses to prepare individuals with skills needed to enter and advance in the tech sector, regardless of their educational or professional background. Plumtite is a plumbing and HVAC company serving Greater Cincinnati, Dayton, and Northern Kentucky. Luxuriously designed and conveniently located Woodhouse Spa Northern Kentucky invites you to enjoy their signature spa services. At Texas Roadhouse in Florence, they brag about their hand-cut steaks, fall-off-the-bone ribs, made-from-scratch sides, and freshly baked bread. Founded in 1911, the Cincinnati Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired provides comprehensive services for people of all ages who are blind or visually impaired. Hi, everyone. Today on the podcast, I am joined by Richard Brown, CEO of Emerge. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
It's exciting to have you on. We haven't had you on, so let's jump right in. Tell us a little bit about Emerge.
So we're a technology service provider. We're based here in Northern Kentucky. Been in business about 20 years, right? Myself and a couple partners founded the business 20 years ago, so I am also one of the founders in addition to being the CEO. And we take care of customers in the region, right? We help them with their technology needs and their services. We help make sure their environments from a technology standpoint are safe and productive for their end users.
Yeah, that's very important. And you mentioned you guys just celebrated 20 years last year. Congratulations. That's a huge milestone. How have you guys done this for 20 years? Tell us about how you guys have built this organization.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's growth over time, right? So we still have our very first customer, which is really neat, and we get to work with those folks on a regular basis. But just over time, we've cared for those customers, right? And been a part of the community and involved in just helping each of our customers grow. And then that just comes through word of mouth, right? As we interact and help folks, they refer us to their friends, who then we take good care of, and we continually do that over and over. And so that, and then great people. We've had the opportunity to have a lot of really good people work with us and for us over the years, and our team cares for our customers. And so in caring for our customers, caring for our team, we just continue to add customers and grow the business. So it's fun.
Yeah, I love that. When you look at your LinkedIn profile page, you guys have employee spotlights, those things where you have people come in once a month. I love that you guys are really building that culture too. So I'm sure that really speaks to the longevity that you guys have had so far.
Yeah, and I mean, culture, you mentioned it, right? We focus on culture, and as we brought folks into the organization, we make sure they fit that culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
They fit what makes sense, and really caring for our customers and working together as a team. And so then getting to spotlight them is really a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love that. And you've mentioned a few things that kind of make you guys unique, make you stand out. When you're thinking about other IT organizations within the region, what sort of things make you guys different at Emerge?
Well, gosh, we joke a lot that our servers may not be faster, or our data may not move faster, but it's the way that we take care of our customers with customer service,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we take extra time to measure how the customer satisfaction looks. We measure what those relationship interactions look like, and then we take time to get feedback from our customers and just make sure that the solutions we're putting together and the way we're caring for them really works.
Yeah, that's really important. I know IT is a big expanding field. I feel like every time I talk to a friend that works in IT, I'm like, I don't know half the words you just said. And that landscape has really changed over the last 20 years. I know that right now we're talking about generative AI and things like that. When you think about the landscape of the profession, what do you think people need to know right now?
Boy, the landscape right now of where technology and IT is. I mean, right, you mentioned AI, and that's changing the world. But when it comes to the day to day, there's tools that we see some with AI, and there's been specific discussions around that. That's a piece of it. But then we have cloud, right? And cloud continues to change. And so when it comes to the business world, which is what we work so much in, many of our customers they're looking at their application set and their platforms, and how do they manage to that? How do they continue to stay relative from a technology standpoint and make sure they're giving their end users in their environment an efficient way to work? And so those applications have changed over time. We think about that 20 years. So much of that when we get into technology was premise based. It was servers and desktops in an environment. And yes, it was connected to the internet, but that wasn't the core of it, right? Today, it's so much cloud-based, and yes, we still have some premise infrastructure, but so much of that is moved, and so these customers, these companies have to have a lot of flexibility in the way they move their data and how they handle their applications.
Yeah, and I think when you're thinking about the customers and the clients that you have right now, when you're thinking from IT, what are like the top 3 biggest things that you guys are doing for your clients? What are those top line concerns?
Yeah, and so the big one that gets talked about a lot is cybersecurity, right? We know that landscape continually changes, and the bad guys are finding new ways to get access to our data and try to make money off of whatever's going on. So protecting those environments from a cybersecurity standpoint is almost the number one. Like we talk about it every day more than anything else, because we don't want that kind of thing getting into our customer environments or damage there. You mentioned AI, right? And so we see AI as changing the landscape. Though how it's going to apply to business isn't perfectly clear in every case, but just in simple things, things like Copilot that many people are familiar with, Microsoft product set, and obviously ChatGPT and those products. We see those things as really the very beginning or the infancy, and then we're watching the landscape to see where does it go next. And it's kind of like when we think about years ago with cell phones, they talked about killer apps, right? And so today we go, gosh, what's the next thing coming out of AI that's going to change business significantly, right? So that's another piece. And then we talked about cloud, right? So that's the third big one. We think about, again, the traditional premise-based infrastructure, endpoints, and prior to the last 5 years, folks working in an office on premise. Today, we see so much of that as mobile work and in the cloud, and how can we make sure that the end user community is enabled to be, able to work anywhere.
Yeah, and I think as we have that hybrid remote thing, being able to connect and stay connected and do it securely is such an important thing for all of our members and everyone that's not even a member here at the Chamber. And one of the other things, when it comes to what you guys are looking at towards the future. Do you have predictions? Do you have something that you think is coming down the pipeline that people need to be prepared for? Or are you just flying by the seat of your pants like the rest of us?
Boy, as we talked, we mentioned AI, and that's I think the obvious. Be ready for the changes that are going to happen in the workforce and in technology, and we watch it really closely to go, what's coming up next, because our customers have the expectation that we're ahead with technology and we can help lead them. And that's what we've done over 20 years. We've looked at where the technology is going, and then we're able to sit with them and look at their business and go, how do these new innovations apply to your business? And so we're going to keep doing that, right? And we're keeping a real close eye on AI. That's A1A. And then we talk about, cloud. Again, we're going to keep a close eye on that, and how does that change the way they work and efficiency, and how do they make sure they stay ahead of their competition in whatever market they're in. So those are the big ones to me.
Yeah, what we're looking out for. I know it's constantly changing. And one of the things I want to ask you before people come on the podcast, you have a little form that you get to fill out with some questions and some topics. One of the things you wanted to be asked is, what's your favorite thing about Northern Kentucky? I love that question.
Yeah. And so, we do some national peer group meetings where we get to travel, and we leave Northern Kentucky, and then we come back. I see these other areas that we're in, but I'm reminded of this is home and all the great things about Northern Kentucky. Beyond our business being here, I raise a family here, right? And it's just such a great place to exist, both in business and to raise a family. Just the feel of the environment and the fact that it's home. It's just a great environment.
Yeah, and after 20 years, you guys have really built this great organization, and you guys were nominated for our Business Impact Awards. You guys were one of our finalists this year, so congratulations to Emerge on that. And before I let you go, for people that need to get in touch with you, want to learn more about Emerge, how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, traditional methods, our website, find us on LinkedIn. Our website's emergeits.com, right, and LinkedIn. And we are here in Northern Kentucky. Our offices are here. We do most of our support here. So you can always find us, here locally.
Make it easy for you. And then, Richard, last thing before you go, is there anything I didn't ask, anything you think our viewers and listeners need to know about you or about Emerge?
No, just really want to thank the Chamber for all the programs. I think that's the best thing. We love being part of the awards that we've had and opportunities to do podcasts like this. So we appreciate the Chamber and the involvement that it brings.
Well, thank you, Richard, and I appreciate you coming on the podcast today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Today I am joined by Tammy Wilson, our VP of Government Relations and Business Advocacy. Tammy, welcome back to the podcast.
Great to be back, Sarah. It's always good to sit and chat about all things advocacy.
I know, and you have a huge event coming up this summer. NKY United is happening June 17th and 18th. Dive right in. There are a lot of moving parts to this event. Tell us about what's going on.
They are. This really is an exciting event. It's something we are honored and privileged to be able to deliver to not just our members, but to the general public here in our region. It's a unique opportunity that we do every other year, where we bring the interim joint committee meetings, several of them, not all of them, to our region. We can showcase some of our things, and we also have the opportunity to maybe provide some testimony on important projects and issues within our region. It's really a unique opportunity. And there's a saying, many people have probably heard of it before, is that if you do not have a seat at the table, you must be on the menu. And in this case, Northern Kentucky, Tammy Wilson and the Northern Kentucky Chamber definitely have a seat at the table. What will happen during this period, it's over the course of about 2 days, June 17th and 18th this summer in Covington. We are bringing up 5, actually 6, because 2 of them are combining, different interim joint committee meetings. What are interim joint committee meetings? That is where both chambers, the Senate and the House, bring their committees jointly together to hear testimony and issues, projects that are in, underway and people are working on, and how the legislature can be instrumental in addressing those concerns and issues. This is a rare opportunity in our state. Northern Kentucky, outside of the Kentucky State Fair, where the legislature goes every year, Northern Kentucky is the only region that has this opportunity. So I say that softly because, it's not a given that we will get this in 2 years again. So we really want to make sure that we roll out a great opportunity, that the legislators feel like that we're providing a good spot for them, and we're giving them solid information about our region and our needs and how we can work together on making just really generally the Commonwealth a better place to go. Just tell you a little bit about the different committees that we are bringing. The one large combined one is economic development. You'll see that these are all topics that we talk about all the time.
Right.
Economic development, workforce investment, with tourism, small business, and information technology. Health services, another large topic that we are looking at a lot. Licensing and occupation, again, perfect for the chamber to host that. And natural resources and energy. Energy is a big piece of what keeps our region rolling, and businesses make it attractive for businesses to come here and people to live here and take advantage of all the great things that Northern Kentucky has to offer. So we're expecting over 100, of our many legislators that we have from Frankfort to come here, stay for those 2 days. And we have some social things going on, but most importantly, that all of these committee meetings will be happening on the 18th. And they're open to the public, the general public, and media, of course, will be there.
Mm-hmm.
KET is covering it, live streaming it, which is really important because then the rest of the Commonwealth can also see, hey, they're in Northern Kentucky. That's exciting.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really exciting. It's quite a bit of footwork to get things in place, but happy to do it and super excited for our region.
Yeah, like you said, you gave a lot of information about everything that's going on. So on the 17th, we have a welcoming reception. Tell us a little bit about that, why it's important to attend this, and we have another kind of networking opportunity to talk about those networking opportunities.
So the welcome reception is the evening of June 17th, Tuesday, June 17th. That is a ticketed event, so tickets are very much available. Check out our website if you're interested in that, or contact the chamber and we'll get you hooked up. That's the evening that many of the legislators will come into town. They're staying at local hotels here in Covington, and you'll have the opportunity to talk to them one-on-one. A little cocktail, a little appetizer along with that, just kind of a precursor where we can all be singing off the same songbook, if you will, in welcoming our legislators to the region, but also tipping that iceberg of the issues that we are talking about a lot: transportation, housing, workforce, talent attraction and retention, all of those issues that we are really focusing on. But it's at Hotel Covington in the Lightwell, actually that's the North, at Hotel Covington in the Lightwell room. It's a great venue down there. There'll be food and drink, and we actually have a little live music coming our way too. Ooh. So it should be good.
That's so exciting. And then the next day, the interim joint committee meetings are happening. We have that schedule online, like you mentioned, all of those different joint meetings that people can attend, the public can attend. Mm-hmm. And then you guys are going to a Reds game.
Yeah, big stuff. So the meetings, again, will run from 9 a.m. roughly till, the last one should wrap up around 3:30, 4 o'clock. Then we have a pregame happy hour, which will be in the North at the Knowledge Bar and Social Room right there. So again, very walkable, very easy, where again, we will have some refreshments and that sort of thing. People can pick up the Reds tickets. Again, Reds tickets are available. This is a real VIP experience that we're going to get to have.
So fancy and fun.
So many probably have been in the Handlebar over at Great American Ballpark. We have secured that, so it's going to be a true VIP experience. Legislators are attending, and in some instances, their family members as well. But tickets are available to our members, and actually the public, if they would like to purchase a ticket, you're more than welcome to do that and join us. I think that's going to be well over 200 people at that for a great Reds game versus the Twins, 7:10 first pitch. So the happy hour is where many people are picking up their tickets. That's way, if you purchase a ticket, that's how we're going to get it to you. Unless you just can't make it, we'll make special arrangements if you can't. But that's where the legislators will come to pick up their ticket. Again, another opportunity to kind of rub elbows with those folks and welcome them and just have those good conversations about issues that are important to us.
Yeah. And when you think about like the types of members and the types of people in our community who should attend this, who are those people? Well,
business leaders, of course, and people who are engaged in the not the political process per se, but the legislative process. Right. Their organization or their company is seeking some relief on maybe some regulatory things. That's always important for them to come to. We're going into a budget year in 2026.
Right.
So we are not hosting appropriations and revenue this year, unfortunately. That's quite an undertaking because there's budget review committees that come with that. So a little bit more complicated. But we, of course, have the chairman on the Senate side and Senator Chris McDaniel, who will certainly be around. He serves on other committees besides that one. But the fact that we're having this and hosting this leading into that budget year gives us a lot of time to have those important conversations. Really, much of the work before legislative sessions are done during the interim. It's really where, again, you have a seat at the table and you can have those conversations. Because honestly, if you wait until late fall, early winter, right before the session starts, or even when the session's underway, it's too late, frankly.
Right.
So anybody that has a concern about that, or has a organization or is working in a spot where you're helping, a volunteer actually on some of these really important issues like housing and transportation, some of the working groups that we have in the region, perfect place for you to be, to have, again, those conversations and for us all to be talking about the same things, or just to get to know your legislator a little bit better, or somebody downstate. It's a great opportunity to really kind of learn the process firsthand, and how these committees work. Not everybody can get down to Frankfurt when they're in the General Assembly or even during the interim, typically, to kind of see, how the sausage is made, if you will.
Yes,
so,
it's a very complicated, very involved process, and we are very lucky to have you. I know I feel like I say that every time you're here on the podcast, but it is really a great event that we are able to host this. Like I said, June 17th and 18th, people can register, nkychamber.com/events. It's all over our social media pages for people doing that. Tammy, any other final thoughts about NKY United before I ask you our final question?
Yeah, no problem. No, it's just, again, I cannot put enough emphasis on the rarity and what a great opportunity that we have that could be taken at any time. So I work very hard to make this a productive, valuable experience for all, the general public, as well as our membership, of course, and the legislators themselves. I mean, get to know your legislators and how this process really works. I say this often, but elections matter, and how, who you work with matter. So get to understand it, get to know these folks a little bit better and who you're working with, and the kind of, the quality person that you would like to represent you in Frankfurt. And this is just a great opportunity, to have great conversations, but to build those relationships, which make all the difference in the world. This is very much a relationship opportunity. Not only that, though, you can get to know other chamber members and other people in your own community that are passionate about the very similar things as you. And so there's so many things you can garner out of this whole event. So don't hesitate to ask questions, reach out, and find out more if you're interested in learning more about how you can be part of any piece of that. But again, Hotel Covington and the Madison Event Center will be hosting the committee meetings themselves. Again, I can't say enough. It's open and free to the general public and the media. And I suspect we will have quite a crowd out there for that day. So take advantage of the great opportunity that we have.
Yes, great opportunity. More on our website. Final question for you today, Tammy. You mentioned that a lot of the work that goes on, it's happening now before this budget year. It happens in those interim sessions. It happens throughout the season. So what's going on in advocacy? What are you guys looking forward to? What's happening in your world?
Well, lots
other
going
than
on
NKY United.
Yes. No, well, there's plenty still going on outside of that. And we continue to remain focused on some of the federal issues surrounding tariffs that are important to our membership. Tax cuts, we're working and watching very closely on the work of Congress when it comes to reinstating some of the tax cuts that will expire at the end of this year. There has been some recent progress on that, so we continue to monitor that and talk to our federal delegation about the importance of making sure that those things are reinstated. There's quite a bit on the federal level. And then, of course, just preparing for this event more than that. But also, we have 2 government forums coming up before the end of August. Very exciting. I'll just share just a smidgy bit. We believe our next government forum will be July 22nd, where we will be hosting some local mayors talking about their collaborative efforts as a region, what is unique to their city, what are some of their challenges, and maybe some of the things they may be looking for going into the General Assembly in 26 as well. So be looking for more details on that. We're actively working to confirm our mayors, and we'll get that out in our communications here very, very soon. And then in August, I can't really say too much about that, but I think it will be a nice tie-in to what is happening at the federal level, as well as political stuff that it's going to be happening in 2026. So quite a teaser there, I understand.
Yes.
But I think it spur your interest. Hopefully that's what I'm doing here. And but wait for more more information should be coming soon. But we've got a really busy July and August.
Yes, very busy. Well, Tammy, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us on the podcast today.
Love being here anytime. Thanks, Sarah.
Chris Knockelman with Schneller Knockelman Plumbing, Heating, and Air. It's spring now, but before you know it, our ACs are working overtime.
Dave, it's going to be warm soon.
Right now is a good time to get the AC serviced, right?
You can get your AC tuned up for only $59.
So get your $59 tune-up at
SKPHA.com. SKPHA. So if your plumbing and mechanical systems give you trouble, just remember our name. Schneller Knockelman.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast today and learning more about Emerge from Richard Brown and about NKY United from Tammy Wilson. Like Tammy said, this is a really unique opportunity to get involved in the legislative process, and we encourage you to come out and get involved. You can see the full list of interim joint committee meetings and register for those networking opportunities at nkychamber.com/events. We hope to see you there. Thank you once again to our podcast sponsors, C-Crew, Google and Amazon advertising experts, and Schneller Knockelman. Finally, if you're a member who would like to be featured on the podcast, or if you're someone who is interested in joining the Northern Kentucky Chamber, please reach out to Lynn Ablin. And if you're a member who would like to share your workforce strategies and resources on our Talent Strategy Spotlight, please reach out to Nancy Spivey. You can find their contact information on the screen or on our staff directory, as always, at nkychamber.com. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll talk to you guys next week.